All right, y'all, we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business today. Gonna see if it has BSS for these two Google searches. So we're back here in the GBC universe. We're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, pinned post, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. You can see FSIC in white, our graph here. Over to the left, we got the highest intent peeps. These are the peeps searching for, boudoir photo shoot in their city right now, today. And they're searching social search and Google search. So we focus on these peeps in our videos here about BSS. Peeps are closest to the money, highest converting peeps. Over on the right, we got the lowest intent peeps. We talk about those at our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. We talk about BLCS, reaching those lowest intent peeps. And currently, we're only working with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. Now, BSS, boudoir search sameness. That's when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 slots, our business is basically dead because we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. 80% of Google searches are page 1 and done searches. So that is, approximately 80% of the market. That's basically the bulk of the market, basically everyone, basically all buyers. And so 0 is no bueno. 1 slot in page 1 Google is also no bueno because that actually means we're literally looking the same as everyone else because there's 10 slots page 1 on Google. There's literally going to be 10 other, or actually 9 other peeps with 1 slot page 1 on Google. And as a result, we're blended in. We're basically invisible. We're looking the same. What the boudoir buyer going to do? They're going to click through every. They're literally going to click through every person on page 1, open their website, submit a contact form, get a quote, price shop, price shop, price shop, negotiate, 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 and kills all the margins, decreases the probability that they buy at any, you know, boudoir photographer makes any profit at all if they even get that client. So 1 slot, no bueno either. Now, 0-1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It is the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Market saturation, basically everyone knows this. Over time, people get new iPhones, new cameras. It's kind of naturally there, they throw up the Google My Business profile saying they now offer boudoir, throw up their website saying they do boudoir photography. They throw up their, they throw up their, they're also then posting the mom Facebook group saying they do boudoir photo shoots. This kind of naturally happens over time. Big flood happened during COVID. Lots of people lost their jobs. Still had to earn money though. Everyone's got a super powered smartphone with super camera. So pretty natural for people to become tons of new peeps to become boudoir photographers in that time. Now the false belief of page 1 equality, not many people know about this one. This is where kind of boudoir photographers have always kind of assumed and accepted that every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google. But this is actually not correct. What actually is true is that Google will give us as many page 1 slots on as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search in only 10 days using our new methodology we developed. So I know just kind of accepting wherever Google places, our website, it's incorrect. Maybe we're on slot 7, page 1, some market saturation happened, and we're on, slot 1, page 2. Boudoir photographers naturally would be like, well, I hope someone deletes their website on page 1 so I can actually get back on there and hopefully Google re-ranks me there. But no, now we know we can actually take as many page 1 slots as we want. Next, a boudoir photographer with BSS boudoir search sameness is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. And disappearing because, if their business they got 0 slots page 1, so they're on page 2 or deeper. Yeah, they're disappearing because they're already invisible to approximately 80% of the market. If they got only 1 slot page 1 on Google, yeah, they're still basically invisible. They're being price shopped to death. They're dying. They're still dying a slower death than 0 slots. But in both cases, it's kind of like the warning light, kind of like the red flag. the canary in the coal mine telling us that our boudoir photography business itself is now on the path to disappearing. But thankfully, we now have a solution. We've discovered that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka SQ methodology. We know this because we invented it. And it works exactly as it says, social search saturation. We're saturating social search, the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, making sure we show up there. Doing this is kind of like putting snow at the top of the Andes Mountains down in South America, down on the backside, the eastern side of those mountains. And that snow melts. What happens is it forms into small streams, small rivers, and then it all flows into the large Amazon River. And that large Amazon River is page one of Google. But it all starts with actually getting the snow to the top of the mountain, and that is SQ methodology, social search saturation. And what's special about this is it's the only solution I've seen for boudoir photographers that actually can enable their business to still grow even in the face of massive market saturation, and gives them that opportunity in a relatively quick time frame. The only other option I've seen that offers a similar benefit is having a large, well-known brand. But dude, that takes 5 to 10 years to acquire. We ain't got 5 to 10 years. AI's here, it's taking people's jobs. Gonna be a flood of boudoir photographers coming into the market, and we're deciding to prepare ourselves now. And by my estimates, SQ methodology can actually help build a large, well-known brand in a city approximately 8x faster than normal methods. It's because we're showing up on so many more surfaces, so much more frequently. That's kind of a byproduct. And then imagine you've got the large, well-known brand, and you continue to use SQ methodology. I mean, you're basically unbeatable at that point. So an example right now, we are now going to, let's see, I've decided I want to go to, oh, there we go, Topeka, Kansas. So we're in Topeka, Kansas. There are 1 million boudoir photographers. We are one of them. Everyone's got their website saying they shoot boudoir photography. So it's ultra competitive. Get page one on Google. So we're not invisible, so we're not disappearing. And as a result, and we don't have a large, well-known brand. Literally, the only chance for us to compete was we now have a solution for SQ methodology. So like, all right, we're going to take this technology, we're going to crank it to the max, and let's say we take up the first 300 slots on social search across all the surfaces for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in our city. As a result, that flows down the mountain into the Amazon River. That flows down onto page one Google search. And when that happens, we are actually taking those first 300 slots, page one Google search. Let's say we got that as well. So basically anywhere any boudoir buyer searches, we're ranking for all those keywords across all these surfaces, and we're basically the only boudoir photographer our buyers can find. They essentially can't even find our competitors. They basically got page 31 because we're taking up the first 30 pages on Google. I mean, who's going to page 31? Nobody. So in this scenario, whose boudoir photography business is growing? Most likely ours. Whose boudoir photography business is declining, disappearing, going poof? Basically the other 999,999 other boudoir photographers. And this is an ultra extreme example of what the SQ methodology could enable. Actually taking it to the max, kind of ultra max version of it. Next, once treated with SQ methodology, we now have page one visibility, P1V. And so obviously we get the initial benefits, more slots page one on Google. We also get this new second initial benefit, which a lot of boudoir photographers like the best. It's every new slot we get on page one on Google, we are actually kicking our competing boudoir photographers off page one, put them on page two or deeper, effectively making them invisible. Because remember, approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page two. They're page one and done searches. So a lot of boudoir photographers like this initial benefit as well. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So we have the GBC universe recommends a minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page one Google search. That's because if everyone else has 1 slot each and we got 3 slots, well, we're dominating them. And if the ultra rare chance someone has 2 slots, we still got 3 slots, we're still dominating them. So we're basically dominating everyone in all scenarios if we get to a minimum of 3 out of 10. Obviously, higher is better. We also know that boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So this is our micro universe here. got a disappearing boudoir photographer with BSS boudoir search sameness. It's caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. That's fine. We now have the solution S cubed methodology. We achieve page one visibility. We become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. All right, now my results utilizing S cubed methodology. I want to dominate Google page one for this keyword BLCS boudoir. So I use S cubed methodology to see my results. Organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search in only 10 days. So people searching this keyword, who are they clicking on? Obviously me. So we're not going to say if this boudoir photography business has BSS, yes or no, for these 2 Google searches. So let's see. Boom. All right. Santa Clara, San Jose. All right, right here. So Santa Clara. All right, so let's see. We got 1 out of 10. Find that. And, well, we got 1 out of 10. I mean, we got the Google, but we don't get that as Google, out of the 10 organic slots. So we got 1 out of 10. Dang. Yeah, no, I know actually Santa Clara is right in the middle of San Jose, so that actually makes sense. More kind of keyword overlap competing for these slots. So yeah, dude, we got BSS here with well search sameness. I'm simply looking at the 10 organic slots. Now let's also look at San Jose. All right, so we got 1 out of 10. We got, all right, we got 1 out of 10 again. So we got BSS. All right, so we got BSS for both searches. We're at 1 out of 10 for both. And so, yeah, we got BSS, and also we did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page 1 slots to really get that boudoir search visibility. So, if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, meaning you went and you've done your local search, your city search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, you noticed you either had BSS, so you have BSS for either one or both of those searches, or you are you're not reaching the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google for again either 1 or 2 of those slots, and you've accepted that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief, and you've actually seen Google will actually give us as many page 1 slots as we want to put in the effort to acquire. So you're saying, okay, now SQ methodology makes sense, and you're seeing that this is the only path forward for yourself, and you've actually been waiting for something like this, and you're liking the initial benefits more, page 1 links on Google. You're liking the second initial benefit, which is actually like the second one a little bit more, which is you're able to kick your competitors off of Google, make them invisible, page 2 and deeper. And you understand the market saturation. Yeah, more, new gear eventually over time. More people hop on to become boudoir photographers, so it gets harder and harder over time. But you're looking ahead and you're like, man, AI is currently taking people's jobs. And last time people lost jobs, COVID, a new flood of boudoir photographers came in because everyone's got a smartphone with a great camera. So it's easy to start saying shoot boudoir down now. Offer it cheaply, kill margins for everyone. I'll later compete boudoir photographers, kind of just annoy, basically like take up slots page 1 on Google. And so you're seeing, okay, you're seeing more and more people are going to be entering the marketplace above and beyond the people getting new gear, forced to because of losing their job due to AI. So you're like, okay, we need to actually fortify our slots on page 1 and actually have so many backup links that Google wants to rank us on page 1. But since there's only 10 slots, literally, it cannot rank us anymore. But those backup slots will literally be like preventing current competitors from ever ranking on page 1 or any future competitors from ranking on page 1. Kind of like fortifying the levees down in Nolens, Louisiana, because that city is below sea level, fortifying against the ocean. So you're seeing, okay, you got to fortify, and you're like, oh, SQ methodology will give me that future benefit as well. That's the exact perfect tool to use to achieve that goal. And you want, you want to achieve page one visibility. You want to become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you need these things in order to become the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you're also looking ahead to the future and the future benefits that we haven't talked about yet of utilizing SQ methodology, which is, we're kind of building these invisible thematic keyword columns attached to our brand, our website name, our business name, our name, kind of out there on the internet. And it's kind of like, columns to the, Parthenon, Athens, Greece, or, the spokes into our hub, like them in, the center of a bike tire, where our business name's the hub. So we've got all of these columns plugged into us. And what this is like building AI mindshare for those keywords: age, relevance, frequency, authority, repetition. So we're building AI mindshare for these keywords, and every day we successfully do this, which is exactly what SQ methodology does, we are increasing the probability we'll be recommended here in the most premium placement AI overview at the top of Google search, which we cannot pay for with ads to get. And so you're seeing that benefit, you're liking that feature benefit. You're also understanding that, well, if it's helping with that, it will also increase probability of every single day of being recommended on AI search, ChatGPT search, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. You're recognizing the more kind of invisible thematic keyword columns you plug into your brand, the higher and higher probability every single day recommended to searchers on those platforms. And yeah, Google still owns practically 90% of global search, but dude, AI search is growing every single day, and Google's kind of slowly decaying every single day. Standard Google search. So you're recognizing that you want these benefits, and you're also recognizing, since my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city, you can actually box out your competitors from ever using this strategy, get all the benefits against them, the two immediate benefits, the 3 future benefits, and the 4th one would be, grown actually a known brand approximately 8x faster than conventional methods. And you would, you're recognizing you could actually put massive distance between yourself and any of your current competitors or any future competitors, where basically you get so far ahead, there's like literally basically no chance for them to catch up. And as a result, when you actually want to, since you decide to be first mover on this, because you understand if a competing boudoir photographer hops on this first, then you'd be locked out. You'd be getting kicked off page 1 of all the highest intent Google searches. They'll get to page 2 and deeper, where approximately 80% of the market will never ever see you because they're page 1 and done searches. And we would actually be making up massive progress against you, boxing you out from ever getting on page 1. And me and your competitor would be building up massive momentum and invisible thematic keyword column back-end AI mindshare, kind of invisibly, with the AI search recommenders. And I remember last time I did AI search for boudoir photographers in a city with ChatGPT, and recommended me 3. And I actually went and did manual search Google and Facebook, simply to see how many are actually out there. Dude, there's like 60. So you're seeing, yeah, we definitely gotta find some way to get on these AI searches. And you actually want, you're saying that if a competitor is making all this momentum, then making all this progress, and you're frozen out, you'd actually have to rederive SQ methodology yourself, or derive it for the first time. You would never actually trust that you derived it 100% correctly, but then you'd have to execute same amount as us every single day. And if you did all that, you'd simply be maintaining the gap between your competitor and me and you. So you'd have to actually double or triple our effort, our output every single day. And then if you were to do that, then you could steal back some of the AI mindshare momentum from us, get some links. But you would never feel 100% confident you've even derived the strategy correct in the first place. So you'd probably not even feel confident putting in the time to do all that. Out execute us 2 to 3x every single day. And plus, who's got 80 hours a day to do that? So you decide to screw that. You decide to be the first mover in your city, block out all your competitors from using this strategy. And if that's you, shoot me a DM. The hospital is currently closed for new patients, but when I do open the hospital up for new patients, shoot us a DM, and we'll see if you qualify to use our S cubed methodology.